For Australia, modern times is divided into different parts. Part 1 is Abstract in Australia, which highlights the experimental design internationally in form and color. For instance, Bauhaus designs, Rose Seidler's house designed by Harry Seidlers in the 1950s, and the Australian Academy of Science designed by Roy Grounds in 1959. And Part 3 captures mapping the cities with urban planning, while Part 4 focuses on how the war has shaped design. All these different components contribute to Australian modern design. Modernism progressed incredibly fast after the World War II has ended, because the lack of materials has pushed designers to use them simply and efficiently. Since then, designers and architects began to embrace this new practice of design and showed the public the potential of modernism. Specifically, Australian multicultural nature means its modernism varies with diverse concepts due to different cultural influences. Despite coming from multicultural viewpoints, the minimalism and simplicity is constant in Australian modernism, which can be determined through the modernist design principles that outlines ideas such as design must evoke the spirit of times, practicality, form follows function, primary color usage, truth to material, etc. And while some people appreciate futuristic designs, some people who long for vintage tall decorated lamps instead of a light bulb are saddened by the lack of colorful decorations. Art Deco inspired many beautiful designs in its time, but as time passes, people start to appreciate the simplicity in modernism, which is popularized by the influences of early Australian modernist designers such as Robin Boyd. A historic modernist architect, Robin Boyd, was born in 1919 in Melbourne, Australia, to an artist's father and later on married an artist, Edith Gerard. He started at the Melbourne University Architectural Atelier. He was fascinated by the conflict between the opposite desire of privacy and freedom, which played a part in how he approached his designs. However, another big inspiration to him was Japanese architecture, which he ultimately wrote 3 books about. Furthermore, he is known for testing people in the way that his designs are not exactly what his clients had requested, but are exactly what they wanted. In 1946, Boyd became the director of the Small House Service that promoted and sold small house designs that require minimal resources to build after the war has ended. Overall, his approach to design is to consistently create a space that fits the desire but does not lessen the quality. Robin Boyd's The Welsh House was ahead of its time in many ways, as a new technique is seen in the way he incorporated the technique of tensile by using cables to build a versatile wooden roof that moves. Following the roof are glazed walls, which is stepping out of the traditionally framed glass windows. He placed the courtyard right in the middle of the house instead of in the front or in the back in order to optimize the usage of the garden. The courtyard is a private outdoor area, which is a tangible gray area of freedom versus privacy. Furthermore, the parents' bed is in the entrance area, so they have a space that transforms between a social area and their private bedroom, which face the east for the brilliant morning sun. Now looking at Robin Boyd's Blot House, which is a modest house of only 3 bedrooms, but when looking from the outside, it looks big and monumental, which is why it is called a small house made big. For this design, Boyd really thought about the landscape of Yarra Valley, that the shape of the house is an arrow pointing up to the beautiful valley above, accommodated by giant glass walls with gridded timbers and white walls. The roof looks different in different areas of the house, as the arrow shape is tilted upwards as well. Interestingly, the third bedroom is reached through a cupboard door. The modernist design principles can be seen in many areas of his works, such as the gabled roof of the Walsh House, which is a long, stable, moving roof. This is a fulfillment in practical needs of a modern life and modern technique of engineering and technology. The Walsh House courtyard is an example of form follows function, as the courtyard clearly shows the function of being an outdoor area inside a home. The Walsh House master bedroom, combined with the lounge area, shows that in design, less is more. Looking at the Plot House, the glazed wall is an element of modern material use and technology, which is anti-historical. And the unconventional arrow shape of the building is futuristic and evokes the spirit of the time. Glenn Murcutt was born in London 1936 to Australian parents and moved to Australia in 1941, where he studied at the University of New South Wales. In 1964, he joined the Anchor, Mortlock, MRA, and Woolley practice, where he gained passion for innovative and environmentally sensitive buildings. Murcutt is a modernist, environmentalist, ecologist, economist, and a humanist. He approaches design with all these different qualities, making his design one with nature. With this approach, he was the first Australian to win the Pritzker Prize in 2002. Murcutt designed the Simpson Lee House as a secular monastic place that is minimal, tough, and lightweight as requested. While Murcutt was planning the design, he had many problems with the government's regulations because the land is located on the edge of a natural reserve. After the design process, the house was moved 90 degrees in order for it to fit in the bush track, so the initial sunlight, wind, and room placement considerations were not exactly right. On a more positive note, the rotation allows for a flatter contour and addition of a pond to the architectural site. The angled roof design is practical in keeping the house cool in the summer with better ventilation, as well as getting enough sunlight in the winter. Additionally, the flow of rain naturally clears out by itself. All these functions are anti-historical designs with very simple geometric form that follows its function. There are only 2 bedrooms, symmetrical on opposite sides of the house. So the house is really anti-historical and minimal compared to traditional houses. Additionally, the hallway area is covered by fly screens and electronic slated blinds. This is the use of modern machine technology, which suits the principle of modern design. The screen opens to reveal the nature outdoors, connecting the living room directly to nature, making the main area of the house a veranda, which showcases the less is more principle. The use of material is shown clearly and true to its form, as the polished concrete, glass, steel were not manipulated to look like something else. Now looking at the traces of Boyd's influence in Murcutt's work, we can see that the visual resemblance between these architects' work can be seen in the style of unconventional tilted roof, which can be seen in the Walsh House by Glenn Murcutt as well. The roof is a huge part of the exterior visual that affects the interior ceiling and the way the rest of the house is built. Although the idea is similar, the technique between the 2 architects is quite different, as Boyd used the cable to hold the wooden board, while Murcutt used the handcrafted metal. Boyd has designed interesting shapes with the moving roof and the arrow roof. With Murcutt, the beauty of his ceiling is the hand craftsmanship that has made the ceiling so seamless, as if it is a huge sheet of metal, which can be seen in the Walsh House by Glenn Murcutt as well. They both designed houses near nature, where they have to embrace the beauty of nature with their designs, and it fits in harmonically with nature. The use of glazed walls is found in Boyd's work as a constant style, and we can see that Murcutt not only used glass for walls, but he also used it for doors. However, Murcutt has used lightweight steel for the grid, while Boyd used a more traditional material, timber grids. Commitment to non-vibrant color, they both use simple white for painted areas, which is elegant and minimal. Meanwhile, they play more with vibrant colors through the furniture, for instance, red and yellow furnitures. On the other hand, they have completely different approaches to design. Boyd challenges his clients' need into something they never thought of, but absolutely love when they see it. Murcutt's approach is to harmonize with surrounding nature. What we have learned is that the similarities in the design of both architects shows the influence of early modernist designers. However, the approach, style, and passion to design is different for each designer. Therefore, being influenced by a design does not mean it has to show exact visual resemblance. Ultimately, being influenced or inspired by a designer does not mean limiting your design to resemble theirs, but it is to look in the way the designers approach the design and their way of thinking. In the end, every person gets influenced by someone or something, but how we take that and what we do with it is completely different.